50-50 on the first date sounds fair, but why does it always kill attraction? And before you get mad at me right now, this isn't about money. It's about what people feel when this happens.
The bill comes out. He looks at me and he says, "So how do you want to do this?"
I was recently talking to someone who went on a great first date. Good convo, good vibes. Well, according to them, it was a great date. The bill comes, they split it. And after, she said, I don't know, something just felt off. She paid her share and that made her feel something was off. So she does not want a second date. This is where modern dating gets so confusing. We say we want equality, no pressure, no expectations. But in reality, people are still judging effort real hard. And the bill on the date is one of the loudest signal on the first date. But this gets like more interesting when you look at other countries. In the US, people will say, let's split the bill, but they'll still notice if you do not offer. For example, a man goes out on a date with a woman and they agree to split. The woman will still feel a certain way the man didn't offer to pay the whole thing. So even though they'll say 50-50, they'll still feel a certain way if you don't offer.
Like the hookup girl?
I just think you're like a drama girl.
Says the man who literally just said, I'm not going to pay the check if you're not going to sleep with me. Like, how broke are you?
However, in France, splitting is actually considered attractive. It actually signals independence.
Every time we see all of these 50-50 conversations, but in France, yeah, French men love this convo. Like, they will always ask, like, oh, why should I pay on the first date? Why should I do this? Why should I even take you on the first date? Like, they hate it.
But in Japan, not paying as a guy can actually feel awkward. So it just varies depending on the country you are in and how you deal with your dates. In South Korea, it's not 50-50. It's more like, I got this, then you get the next one. I think that is kind of fair, you know. I would totally go for that. But the thing is, then who would choose to pay first? Because what if after the first one, I do not want to meet you again? Then the other person does not get to pay for the second one. So who is gonna pay first? Maybe they go to two places and on the same day. So like one person will take this, one person will take that. I guess.
Early in dating, men often pay for dates due to social expectations. Later, it depends on couples.
Okay, let's do Italy. In Italy, whoever invites you pays for it. If you're the one who invited the person, then you are the one paying. And I think that is also fair and simple. That is pretty simple. So if you want a date and you invite the person, then you pay. But I know mostly it's the men who actually ask women out on dates.
If you go out with an Italian guy, you can almost always be sure that on the first date, he'll be the one paying the bill.
If you're in Italy, I think you'll be paying more, especially for the first dates. Are there any women like watching me who actually ask men on dates? I'm just like curious to know. So in reality, we actually don't have any universal fair way to deal with the first date bill. Depending on the country you are, this might vary.
So this was during the daytime and we ended up hanging out in a park for a while, strolling around. And then at this point, dinner time was approaching. I was kind of ready to part ways, but he really wanted to keep spending time together. So I was like, you know what? I never do this. Like, let me just be a little bit spontaneous. He was like, I'm really hungry. Do you want to go to dinner? And to be honest, again, I was not that hungry and I was like kind of ready to go home. But I was like, okay, sure. So we go to dinner and it's fun. The bill comes out. He looks at me and he says, so how do you want to do this? I have never in my life been asked this question. I was so stunned and taken aback that I literally sat there and I said, what do you mean?
But the thing is, here's the part no one actually wants to say. 50-50 isn't always read as fair. Sometimes it's just read as low investments. It's like comes off like you're trying to keep things safe so that when it doesn't work out, it doesn't feel like you invested so much on this person. Like you're keeping things safe instead of actually showing interest. And yes, when you do that, it totally changes the attraction.
But I think a man should pay on the first date. I think it's a very masculine gesture. You sit there with the person that you asked out and you're telling her, hey, you're mine for tonight. I got you. I'm going to pay for this meal. I'm going to take care of you. I think it's a very masculine thing to do.
It's just because attraction isn't built on logic. It's built on signals, efforts, initiatives, and like the intents. Those are the things that actually build attraction. So for instance, when someone takes the lead, even in the small things or even in a small way, it creates this energy. But when everything is like calculated, it just kind of feels neutral. And neutral doesn't really create any sort of sparks. But let's be clear on this. This doesn't mean one person should always be the one paying all the time, because that gets old real fast. However, the strongest dating dynamic isn't 50-50. It's not. It's actually reciprocity. One person invests and the other person matches the energy. Not just like one person investing the whole time. Let's just be on the same wavelength. Let's match the energy. That's exactly how momentum will build. Because think about it. When you really like someone, you are not thinking, let's split the bill. Like honestly, you really, really like someone. In the moment, you're not thinking, let's split the bill. You are thinking, I want to see them again. And your actions usually shows that you really want to see them again. Okay, let's be real. Okay, let's just be real. If you're on the first date and they say, let's split the bill, does that actually change how you see them? Or is that a green flag for you? Drop your honest take on this. I want to see where people actually stand on this. Why 50-50 on dates is killing attraction?